Right now, anyone with a laptop and a clear idea can ship a beautiful website for their product in a single weekend. There's Bolt, V0, Lovable, and Claude Code. You can pick your tool, and the era of needing a designer just to launch is over. But there's a part that nobody talks about. The website is the easy part now. Getting people to actually find the website, that's where almost every solo founder hits a wall, including me. So this is SEO, the ranking of the search results, and this is the GEO. Two channels, both compounding, both free, both completely invisible until you deliberately go after them. In an age where everybody can build a beautiful website in a weekend, distribution is the difference between the products that find the customers and the ones that don't. And paying an agency to figure it out, from where I'm based, that's between $8,000 to $15,000 before you earned a single customer, which is not realistic at this stage. Which is why this video exists. It's the playbook of things that I've tried for my own B2B SaaS tool, from what worked, what didn't, every prompt, every skill, and every result. Which leads me to, I did the only thing that makes sense. I gave Claude Code every marketing surface I had: Google Search Console, Google Analytics, Google Ads Exports, my full website, and I installed 8 community-built marketing skills to run the analysis. In just a couple of days, those 8 skills had executed an SEO audit, a PageSpeed overhaul, a Google Ads strategy refactor, 16 SEO targeted blog posts, asset level creative review, and full campaign analytics. The kind of work an agency would charge $8,000 to $15,000 to deliver, I did it for the cost of my ad budget alone. Here, these are real numbers. No marketing agency, no media buyer, no analytics consultant. And by the end of this video, you'll have 8 free Claude Code skills installed and running, a working SEO, PageSpeed, ads, content audit system, the exact prompts I used, the negative keyword list that saved me $80 a week, the blog post structure that ranks and converts, the one mistake that almost killed my round 2 campaign. So it's a long one, and you can treat this as a course. So you can pause when you need to. The chapters are in the description. Prompts and skills lists are also at the link below. Next, we'll be installing the theme. Step 0, Claude Code. Open with your project folder, your code base for your landing page. We'll be using agentic skills. So skills are pre-built agents. Someone else has done the prompt engineering, the file structure, the workflow logic to install them, run them, and they behave. And for this video, we will be using ones from skills.sh. There are also other sites you can get them from, like skillsmp.com. And the 8 that I'll be using today come from 4 authors. I've added them over here. So I've tried running a couple of audits with and without the skills, and not surprisingly, the ones where I told Claude Code to use the skills reaped better outputs. And this is because of the detailed instructions given to the agents as documented in here. So how do you actually install the skills? What you can do is copy this, head to your terminal, and you paste it. You enter it, and it will proceed with the installation. So once it's done, you'll be able to see it on the side over here under .claude folder. So since I've installed it, I will not proceed with the installation. Alternatively, what you can do instead of installing one by one would be copying all the links and dropping them into Claude Code and getting Claude Code to install all of them for you in one go. So 2 notes before we go further. First, skills are MIT or Pache license. You can fork them, modify the prompts, ship your own. The 8 I picked today aren't the ones that everyone needs, the 8 that map to my specific campaign, and some of them are overlapping in some way, but nevertheless, You can browse through skills.sh and pick the ones that fit your own campaign and your workflows. And second, and this matters, is that skills are not magic. They are good prompt engineering wrapped in a workflow. They follow your instructions, they don't improve them. Every strategic decision in this video, what to fix first, what to bid on, what to write about, when to pivot, was made by me. The skills made the analysis faster. They didn't make the thinking better. So hold on to that. We'll come back to it in the falsifiability beat at the end. Next, you might have one question. Do I have to paste the CSV exports manually every time I run the audit? Why aren't the skills connecting to the APIs directly? The honest answer? Connecting Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and Google Ads via API is genuinely a different difficulty level for each one. So skip this section if you just want to run an audit today. Come back when you want this running automatically, 24/7, and retrieving the data from the various sources automatically without manual exporting of data and pasting into Claude Code. I included a simple step-by-step guide, every button to click, every copy and paste in here, and you can find the link to this document below. Starting with Google Analytics, which is the easiest. So service account in Google Cloud, JSON key, and viewer access on your Google Analytics property in 3 parts. Followed by Google Search Console, which is in the same shape. Service account, JSON key, but you grant access in Search Console instead of Analytics, and you can reuse the Google Analytics service account, which makes the second time much faster than the first. Lastly, with Google Ads. So Google Ads is the slow one, not technically harder, but requires a developer token, and the approval from Google takes 1 to 3 weeks. So solo devs typically get questioned twice, and the trick to this is to split this into 3 phases. Apply today or after this weekend, and finish the token when it comes through. So one thing to take note here is that you should never paste your credentials into a Claude conversation. Treat them with care, especially with the Google Ads developer token. The bottom line is that for one-shot audits, like everything in this video, CSV exports are faster, safer, and gets you 95% of the value. For persistent analysis, where you want this running every day in the background, that's the API path. That's where dashboard story comes in. So hold on to that question and we'll get there. Next, we'll be conducting the actual audit on your site for SEO. You may point the SEO audit skill at your site with one command and review all the pages according to the skill's instructions. You may copy this prompt directly and paste it into Claude Code with slight adjustments, so change the URL accordingly. And while awaiting for Claude, let's quickly run through the MRUQC framework. MRUQC is meaning, relevance, usability, quality, and context. It is a recognized SEO audit framework, starting with M for meaning. And that is the why behind the search, ranging from informational, navigational, commercial, transactional. R for relevance. Each of your pages should have strategic keywords, meta tags, structured data, content clusters. Quality, the number of reputable sites linking back to you and whether you're credible. Usability, to ensure user experience on your site is good. Now note that being mobile friendly is important, as most of your traffic could be coming from mobile devices. And lastly, context. Now back to what Claude has flagged to me in the previous run. 2 of those findings were silent killers. The robot.txt errors meant that Google literally could not validate my crawl directives. I had a website that Google was barely reading. The 7.3 second largest content pane was costing me every mobile ad click. Visitors would land, the page would still be blank, and they would leave. These 2 issues are both fixable, and neither were obvious from any dashboard I'd been looking at. Now, after the audit, you may ask Claude to order these by impact to effort ratio. What's the smallest change that moves the most metric? So that's the ranking that ships. Step 2, the page speed and security pass. PageSpeed reports may not be the most helpful to tell you eliminate render blocking resources and assume you know what that means. The technical-seo-checker skill translates that. You can copy this prompt directly into Claude Code to evaluate the usability of your site, the PageSpeed. But before that, let's access these links here. Starting with evaluating the site security. Ensure that the stats here looks good. And then now let's move on to PageSpeed. Here for the stats for mobile, it doesn't look very good. And what we can do next is to Control P or Command P to print the report. Then save the report. Alongside the prompt, we can attach the report and paste both of them into Claude Code. Claude will then provide you with the suggestions. So here are the fixes that I did to improve the site vitals. 3 things to notice. 1, none of these are exotic. So these are 6 standard web performance moves. 2, Claude didn't have to invent them. The skill knew them and matched them to my specific failures. And 3, the LCP pre-render, the move that I'm most impressed by because Lighthouse wouldn't recommend this by default and you have to know to ask. And this skill knew to ask. Part 3. So most people stop here. They fix their site and they've published a few blog posts. They're now wondering whether their Google ads are working or not. Spoiler, mine weren't. How can you discover yours are working? You can do so by first exporting Google Ads data and place them into a dedicated folder. Then get Claude to access this folder to read the data. This is if you have not connected Google Ads for automatic data retrieval. And you can run this prompt here. Claude will then use the skill and conduct an analysis. For my results, round 1 burned through $186 with 1.18% click-through rate for my search engine marketing campaign. That's pretty bad. With this analysis, you can also discover which keywords drove conversions, which ones burned the budget with 0 return, and how your keyword set has fared. With that, you can also acquire a negative keyword list that is optimized for your next marketing campaign. Here are my results for the Google Ads campaign. 2 keywords drove 100% of my conversions, and 31 keywords, which makes up 94% of them, drove 0 conversions. I've also previously set everything to broad match with no negative keywords. And here's a top list of keywords that were being spent on that did not drive any conversions. So 6% of my keywords drove all my conversions. 6. If I had run this 80-20 on day 1, I would have saved more than half of my round 1 budget. So here's the meta lesson. The 80-20 analysis is not a thing you do once, it's a thing you do every time you have new data. The skill makes it cost 10 seconds instead of 2 hours, so you can actually do it. Additionally, I got to discover what were the exact headlines that fared well and what didn't. This informs me what I can reuse and ditch in the next round of ads. Here's what you can do. For day 1, broad match with 50 to 100 negatives using the list I've provided and any specifics for your niche. Day 7, add more negatives based on the search terms report. And day 30, promote the top 3 to 5 converters to phrase or exact match. Now the thing to note is to never start with exact match in a niche vertical because it could lead to low search volume and Google search needs the data to learn who to provide the ads to, especially in the earlier stages. Saving you a step, I have included my full negative keyword list, so you can steal this and add yours. The version 1 of this list saved me roughly $80 in week 1 of round 2 of ads. Terms could include free, download, tutorial, course, template, how to, and this could be associated with audiences that may not be very relevant to your campaign. Now, here's the artifact, a 692-line strategy document all generated in one skill run from the prompt that I have shared earlier. And it includes a summary of what worked, what didn't work, and suggestion for the next round of ads. Data from not just Google Ads, but also Google Analytics and Search Console if you have connected them previously. This provides a cohesive overview of how your site is doing, and it gives you a deep dive on the performance. Now, for search engine marketing campaigns, this is something you might want to focus on, which is the keywords and the search terms, something that we have covered earlier. And it could also flag any actions to take, things to fix before running another round of ads. Lastly, the actionable takeaways. The report details a guide on what you can do for the next round of ads, and the headlines to include, the creatives to include, what to replace, and what to drop. This is what an agency would charge you 3 to 5 days of senior consultant time for. The skill produced it in 12 minutes. Here's a side note. Don't skip this if you're running B2B SaaS ads. 2 days into round 2 setup, Google flagged my campaign with 2 policy violations. 1, free desktop software. They classified my comparison tool preview as a free product offering, requiring a certificate. 2, destination not working. Adsbot couldn't crawl my landing page because robots.txt was blocking it. 9 commits over 6 days. Here are some lessons that could save you a week of back and forth with Google Ads. 1, Google can read the word free as a product offering, not marketing word. So be careful if you include terms like free trial or free preview. 2, Adsbot is a separate crawler from Googlebot. Your robots.txt has to explicitly allow it for the landing page paths where your ads point at, or your ads get flagged as a broken destination. 3, if you claim a paid product, you need a publicly accessible pricing page, even if your pricing is contact sales. The page must exist. So here are some tips. If you're also facing the same issues, you can go through this list, fix them, and submit an appeal detailing your fix and explain them. Next, content. Most B2B SaaS founders I know do content the wrong way. They write what they think is interesting, or they hire a content agency that writes what that agency thinks is interesting. The result is a blog full of 1,500 word posts that nobody reads, ranking nowhere, converting nothing. The 16 blog posts I shipped in just a single day took a different approach. Every one of them was placed by a deliberate framework. 3 principles, 4 content categories, 7 element structure per post. Let me show you the system. Principle 1. Capture competitors' search traffic with comparison articles. In my case, architects searching for file management already know the tools they're using. Google Drive, Dropbox, BIM 360, SharePoint. They search for them by name, plus for architecture or alternative. So I wrote a comparison page for each one. 4 posts for 4 search intent captures. Principle 2. Target problem-aware users, not just solution-aware. In my case, most architects don't know they have a version control problem. They know they have a DWG file naming problem or a tool collaboration problem. It's different language, but the same underlying pain. So I wrote how-to guides that meet them at their actual search query. Principle 3. Adjacent professionals, in my case, interior designers, landscape architects, face the same file management problems. So writing for them expands my total addressable market without changing the product. This is how you can be strategic with your blog posts. You can use these 4 categories as a guideline for how you can frame your blog posts to build credibility for your site and create a potential funnel for people to navigate their way to your site. Now, looking at the how to manage DWG files. Going into Google Search Console, the same blog post is a goldmine. It's generating more than 100 impressions at position 9.1. That's almost page 1, but with only 1 click. That doesn't mean the post is bad. It means the snippet is bad. The title and meta description in search results aren't compelling enough to win the click. One snippet rewrite could potentially turn this into 15 to 20 organic visits a month indefinitely. So all these show the potential of good blog posts, being a new door to drive potential visitors with high intent to your site. Here's how you can interpret some of the data from Google Search Console. For positions less than 10 and high impressions, yet little clicks, it's a snippet problem, which is the one I had. And for positions above 15, it's a ranking problem requiring a different fix. For positions 5 to 10 with good click-through rate, we can leave them as is. Now let me show you the inside of these posts. Every one of them follows the same 7-element structure. First, to have the answer first opening, where the first opening paragraph answers the title's implied question directly. This reduces bounce. Next, cited statistics to establish the EAT signal. Then internal links. Each post links to a relevant page and 1 to 2 related posts. This keeps the users on site and to engage them with more of your content. External links. Note, to only include the authoritative sources. This demonstrates content is grounded in industry data. Then, the FAQ section. And finally, the CTA paragraph. So every post ends with a CTA. In my case, to bring the users to the scheduled demo page. Or you could bring them to a deeper feature page. The main goal here is to convert the readers. Do take note to not have any AI writing patterns. Here are some tells. The M dashes or any specific terms typically used by LLMs. Now, the last one, no AI patterns rule, could be the difference between content that ranks and content that gets de-indexed for spam. Google's is getting better at catching machine-written copy, so is your audience. They can feel a draft that came from an LLM, even if they can't name it. So strip the tells. How can you write an impactful blog post as we did? You can take this prompt over here that utilizes the seo-content-writer skill to draft one for you and to create the page just like mine. Now, one last thing on content, going to the big picture macro view of your main landing page. The site itself should follow a hero's journey structure across 7 sections. A hero with a problem meets the guide who understands the stakes, who gives them a plan, shows them the reward, call to action, and finally returns with the elixir. The customer here will be the hero and your brand will be the wise guide. Your job is to make them feel that they overcame their obstacles, which is their existing pain point, with the help of your product or service. Give them a glimpse and a taste of that success, and that is how you engage them. So referring to this table here, note how each of my site section map to a stage in the story. So I will showcase my attempt. Every section answers a question the visitor is unconsciously asking. Is this for me? Can I trust them? Do they get my problem? And have parts of your site that relate to the customer's pain point. So as they're asking, what's the plan? What's the payoff? Having a simulated part of your product could demonstrate the value, or a video showcasing how you could guide the user to success could really engage the visitors. So here, I get to interact with some elements and understand the product better and see the value I could extract as a customer in a clearer manner. Now, no section here is decorative. Every block advances the visitor towards your conversion. Engage with the visitor, have them interact with your content, continue and finish off with a strong CTA. The structure isn't from the SEO skill, it's from the Donald Miller's story brand. So if a section in your main landing page is redundant and does not fit with the journey, prune it. Next, execution and creative review. The round 2 of Google Ads ran for 2 weeks. Same skills, refined inputs. Both click-through rates for search engine ads and display ads increase, and we found a new best keyword that was responsible for 14% of the clicks. On the creative side, I gave the skill my asset level performance data, every headline, every description, every image, every CTA with conversion attribution. It found one pattern that beat everything else in my niche. Benefit first messaging beat feature first messaging by 3 to 1. Maybe that could be something that you can look into too. Listen to the difference. Stop managing Start Designing converted at 37.5% on 500 plus impressions, whereas Version Control for Architects, which is the same length and same audience, converted only at 22% for the same person and the same product. The first one tells me what I get. The second one tells me what the tool is. Here, people buy what they get. For the ad copy hierarchy, we've ranked according to the priority. First is what you get, which is the outcome. Then how fast or how easy. Then who it's for. And lastly, what it is, the tool placing last. Most B2B SaaS leads with 4. Don't do that. Lead with 1, what you get, the outcome focus. Next, since you have made it this far, I'll give another extra tip. I almost wanted to cut this section out since it's not strictly SEO topic, but I did gain some insight from experimenting with posting via LinkedIn. So here we go. 2 LinkedIn posts on the same week, same message, same call to action, but with different accounts. So for the company page post, there were 62 impressions, 25 unique, 5 reactions, and 0 direct business inquiries. Whereas for the personal account post, there were over 1,000 impressions, 812 unique, 31 reactions, and 1 direct business inquiry. That's a 17 times lift on impressions for the same effort, same content, but just on different accounts. The lesson here is pretty interesting. LinkedIn algorithmically suppresses the company page reach, allegedly, and maybe because LinkedIn wants companies to pay for that reach. Regardless, from what I've tried, personal accounts do get the organic distribution where company accounts get throttled. So if you are a B2B SaaS founder running a company LinkedIn page and wondering why it's not driving leads, perhaps that's why, then stop posting on the company page. Post the same content on your personal account. The reach difference might actually pay your salary. And also, one more thing that I tested was 2 different formats in those personal posts. On April 9th, a pain point storytelling, the one that got over 1,000 impressions. And on April 15th, a product announcement, something like introducing Hyper. That one got about 820 impressions. Here, the storytelling beat announcement by 28% for the same product, but with a different framing. So lead with the customer's reality, not the product's launch. Now, the falsifiability part. I told you in the intro that I'd show you the place Claude got it wrong. Here it is. When the Google Ads expert skill ran the 80-20 analysis on round 1, its top recommendation was, and I'm quoting, switch all keywords to exact match. You only have 2 converters. Bid on those. Save the rest of the budget. The data backed it up. I did it. And when round 2 launched, within 24 hours, Google flagged my exact match keywords as low search volume. They literally would not serve. My impressions dived from 42,000 in round 1 to less than 600 in the first 3 days of round 2. The campaign was suffocating in real time. The skill was right about the data and wrong about the conclusion. Architectural version control is a niche B2B vertical. The exact phrase volume is too small for Google to serve ads against. The fix was a third option the skill didn't suggest until I asked specifically. Broad match plus aggressive negatives. The progression, broad was too loose and exact was too tight. Broad with negatives was just right. And it's the one that Claude wouldn't have arrived at on its own on the first try. And I got there as I experimented along the way. So here's the rule. Every recommendation a skill gives you, ask one question. Has anyone tried this in my exact niche, at my exact volume? If the answer is a lot of people with bigger budgets, the recommendation is probably right. If the answer is nobody, the volume's too small, then push back. So skills are pattern matchers. They're brilliant at recognizing what looks like a winning pattern based on the broad data. They're worse at understanding why a specific pattern wins for your audience. That gap is actually a good thing. It's the human's job. AI is a tool that requires human oversight, and it's not an autopilot. We've now seen all the pieces: SEO-audit, PageSpeed, Google Ads 80/20 analysis, content, creative review, social. Each one ran its own conversation. But the real magic is a master prompt that runs all the different skills together and tells me what to do next. 2 versions. If you have already run a round of paid ads, use this one. It pulls GA4, GSC, round 1 ads CSVs, and it gives you round 2. And if you haven't run any paid ads yet, there's a lighter version that just uses Google Analytics and Google Search Console. Both are in the link below. So let me walk you through the meaty one first. There are 6 steps. Steps 1 and 2 pulls data from Google Analytics and Google Search Console, which is standard. Step 3. Run the 80/20 analysis on round 1 CSVs. The skills know the framework. Step 4 is the one that compounds. Triangulate wins across channels. Where does a paid winner overlap with a Google Search Console page 1 ranking and a Google Analytics top entry page? That overlap is where your money is. You double the bid, you build a dedicated landing page, and you expand the ad copy variants. Step 5 is the falsifiability lesson from the last act, made into a rule. For every round 1 keyword that wasted budget, don't just kill it. Find the closest semantic neighbor from your winners and replace it. Use the winning ad copy pattern. Never recycle losing copy into a keyword. The skill applies the rule mechanically, so you don't have to remember. Step 6 is the final round 2 strategy document. Keyword list with rationale, ad copy library, negative keywords, budget allocation, landing page work. Every recommendation cites its source data row, falsifiable by design. So 12 minutes of compute, 1 markdown file later that decides where my next couple of $100 go. And if you haven't run any paid ads yet, the simpler version just uses Google Analytics and Google Search Console. It points you towards your first keyword list instead of your second, with the same shape and fewer inputs. So the prompts are all here for you to copy. Pause. Look at what just happened. If data sources were not connected, I would have to log into Google Analytics to export, then Google Search Console, then Google Ads, dragging multiple CSVs into a folder, run a prompt, get a strategy, which is powerful, but it's also fragmented. 3 platforms, and we haven't even talked about LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Analytics, Substack, ConvertKit, Calendly, Stripe, Notion Content, Calendars, Loom, Figma, Influencer Tracking Spreadsheets, Meta Ad Spend, TikTok Ad Spend, Podcast Sponsorship Trackers. Every channel comes with its own dashboard, its own export quirks, its own login. Imagine running this every week, logging into 20 places, manually pulling data, manually feeding it to the AI, hoping nothing's missing when it draws conclusion. That's where most people are right now, including me. What if it all lived in one place? Continuous data flow from every channel, the master prompt running every Monday automatically, the AI watching 24/7, telling you what changed, what's working across paid, organic, social, content, all of it. One workspace, one source of truth, one strategy that compounds. If this resonates, if you can see yourself needing something like this, do let me know. We can explore this in future videos. Lastly, if you would like to get this PDF I've been showing, which includes every prompt, every skill, every step from this video, do check out the link below. I started this video by saying that anyone with a laptop can ship a beautiful website in a single weekend. That part keeps getting easier, but the second part, getting people to actually find the site, is the wall every solo founder hits. Today, you have the toolkit. 8 free skills, 2 master prompts, every step in this video downloadable. A few weeks ago, my problem was distribution. Today, my problem is processing what I've learned across too many platforms. That's a better problem to have, and it's what we'll be exploring next. If you are still at the first wall, this video is the playbook. And if you are already past it and drowning in dashboards, the one I'm building is what comes next. Either way, you're not stuck. The wall is real, but it's a wall, not a ceiling. So build something this week, run the playbook on your own data, and hopefully you've drawn some helpful tips from this video. See you next week.